far as to call him an enemy.
Well, we're not at a war with him, and I don't want to be in a war with Vladimir Putin's Russia. I think that we should try to pursue avenues of peace. I'd also call China certainly a competitor, but we're not in a war with China either. I do think, though, that China constitutes the biggest threat that we have for the United States of America, and I think that we have to be serious about it. But I think we have to be careful about the language that we use in international diplomacy. We can recognize, obviously, that we have adversarial interests with Russia. We can condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and I have, and of course the president.
This is going to be my second video update on this Monday, October 28th, coming to you from Limassol, Cyprus. And I am going to be talking about the mistake from the first video that I made, but so many news outlets made this mistake. So many news outlets, big news outlets. The news outlet Wyon, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. They ran the story of Annalena Baerbock in China. They reported that Annalena Baerbock was in China, and the Chinese did not send an official delegation to meet with her, and they ran the story, and so many news outlets ran the story from earlier today, from this morning. And as the day went along, and I published my video this afternoon, Cyprus time, like 5:30, Cyprus time, 6 o'clock Cyprus time. And then I find out, like 30 minutes after I published my video, an hour after I published my video, whatever, I find out that from the community in Telegram, actually, thank you to everyone on Telegram, that this video of Annalena getting off the plane was not from China. It was actually from Malaysia, from January 2023. And the whole story is bogus. The whole story is fake news. And and the problem is that I used that video, love and marriage, love and marriage. That's what this fountain reminds me of. I think that's a fountain in Chicago, isn't it? What a great sitcom that was. Goes together like, what is the song? Love and marriage goes together like a horse and carriage, I think the song says. Anyway, yeah, so that was from Malaysia. And the problem is that I used that video as of Annalena getting off the plane. I used that as my intro, and that was the perfect video for me to use so I could segue into the big story about Volkswagen closing down the 3 plants in Germany and laying off workers. That was like the perfect segue into the real story, which was the Volkswagen story. And now it turns out that entire video was Annalena in January 2023 while she was visiting Malaysia. And even Wyon, W-I-O-N, they even took down their post. They took down their story. They have the luxury of taking down their news post. I can't take down my video. So I put some corrections in the description box down below and as a pinned comment. And that's it. So I fact-checked it. So many big outlets were confirming this story, and then as the day went along, and after I published my video, it turned out to be false. So on my end, I apologize. I try not to make mistakes. I really, really try not to make mistakes. I've learned to fact-check everything 2, 3, 4 times. But every now and then, even when you are careful, things don't turn out as you were expecting. But anyway, so I wanted to set the record straight. Annalena getting off a plane in Malaysia. In Malaysia, the government didn't have anyone to meet her, no officials. This was in January 2023. The video is not Annalena in China. So let's move on. And while I'm doing this video, this nighttime video, let's talk about two stories. And the first story is that the protests in Tbilisi have started. The protests against the election results, the Georgia Dream winning the election. And Salome Zurabichvili, she called for protests, for a Maidan-style protest to try and overturn the election results, which have been officially certified by the election committee. She's trying to overturn those results, and those protests have started. Viktor Orban is also in Tbilisi to give his support to Georgia and Georgia Dream. And as he was entering, I think he was entering the parliament or the residency of the prime minister. I'm not sure exactly I think it's the parliament building. As he was entering this area, the crowds of people who are protesting the election results, they started to boo Orban. But it looks like it's a big turnout. I mean, I've seen some photos. It's just starting up now. So I guess tomorrow I'll have a better understanding as to what happened. But it looks like there are a lot of people turning up on the square, but it doesn't look huge. It's hard to tell, to be honest. But my sense of the square is that it's not a massive square in Tbilisi where the protests are taking place. It's not a small square, but it doesn't look like a huge area. And there are a lot of people, but I don't know. I can't really put a number on it, and I don't think these are going to be huge protests, but we'll see. We'll see. My sense of things, this is just a gut feeling, is that there'll be protests for a day or two, and my sense is that everything will calm down. Maybe that's more of my hope than my sense, but we'll see. We will see. Zurabichvili also showed up, and it really does remind me of Maidan. She shows up at the event. I'm sure she's going to be speaking to the crowd. We'll see what other surprises turn up at this event, at this protest. Maybe we'll see some EU officials. Maybe we'll see some Collective West leaders. I don't know. I know there is one Ukrainian. I think he's a parliament member or an EU, or he represents Ukraine in the EU, or he's an EU parliament member. I don't know, but this guy's trouble. I think you know who I'm talking about. But I know that he's hanging out in Tbilisi, and that means that they're looking to stir up some trouble. And he was very much involved in Maidan and the horrible event in ODYSEE at the trade unions building. So it's very tense, and I'm hoping for the best. I hope that this protest is not violent. I'm hoping that it lasts for a day or two. There's no violence. The people that are out in the streets wishing to be part of the EU, why you would want to wish that, I don't know. It's beyond me, but that's what they're hoping for. I hope that they have their protests and everything just goes back to normal, and everyone accepts the results that have been officially certified by the election committee. And everyone, as the week goes along, just goes back to living their life. That's what I'm hoping for. I don't want to see Georgia descend into another Ukraine. But that's the update from Tbilisi. And the Financial Times, they put out an article about Trump and Trump's foreign policy. Let me find the title of that article. By the way, Orban put out a post on X, and he said, official visit to Georgia after the elections. Georgia is a conservative, Christian, and pro-Europe state. Instead of useless lecturing, they need our support on their European path. You see, Orban has a different vision of Europe. He has a vision of a European Union, which is a union of sovereign countries. But the key word there is sovereign countries. The countries are sovereign. They have the right to run their countries as they wish. But within the European Union, they work together. It's not this strong center. the strong Brussels. That's not Orban's vision. Ursula's vision is Brussels rules everything, right? That's Ursula and the globalist vision. Everything is focused on Brussels. You have weak member states with weak leaders, and everything is controlled and diverted and run by the center. So two very different visions of Europe. I like Orban's vision. Orban's vision of the EU reminds me of the EU from 20 years ago. It was just basically a union of countries in Europe where you could travel and work within the European Union, and that was pretty much it, you know? That was it. That was a nice vision of the EU. It wasn't a geopolitical project, it was an economic project. Now it's become a geopolitical project, as Alexander put it in the video that we did on Moldova. He's 100% correct. So that was Orban's post. And the Financial Times, they put out an article on Trump's foreign policy with the title, Trump's Foreign Policy Plan, Embrace Unpredictability. And what is the Financial Times saying here? It's saying the former president has a radical global agenda for a second term, say allies, advisors, and would-be aides from Ukraine and the Middle East to pressurizing America's friends and foes. Is that a word? Pressurizing? I guess it is for the Financial Times to be using it. Anyway, I haven't really read this article. All I've managed to do is to read the posts on this article. Hey, buddy. Nighttime beach cat. How's life treating you? Yeah, so let's sit down next to our friend, to the cat, and talk about this Financial Times article. So what I've read from articles talking about this Financial Times article, I'll read the article and talk about it tomorrow, a little bit more about it tomorrow. But basically what they're saying, at least about Ukraine, is that according to these unnamed sources, these allies of Trump, that his plan for Ukraine is, they've described it as a Minsk 3. A Minsk 3 that he's going to dump completely on Europe. Very little involvement from the United States, very little involvement from the U.S. as part of NATO. Basically, he's saying Minsk 3 with demilitarized zones and stuff like that. And what are you looking for? What are you looking for? Cute cat. Demilitarized zones and stuff like that. And the European Union, according to these unnamed sources, the EU would be guarantors of the peace in Ukraine in this Minsk 3 setup. And they would be policing the demilitarized zone. That's the plan, which will never work. I've read some articles which say that that the plan that is coming out for Ukraine is that the regions of Lugansk and Zaporozhye and Kherson and Donetsk, they would over time go back to Ukraine, but Ukraine would recognize them as autonomous republics, autonomous areas. And once again, the EU would be policing everything. Very little U.S. involvement. Very little to minimal U.S. involvement. I think that's the key to what Trump is saying in this Financial Times article, or at least what the allies to Trump are saying, who have been interviewed by the Financial Times, these unnamed allies who have gotten a glimpse of Trump's plan for Ukraine. I don't know. It doesn't sound like these people interviewed by the Financial Times really know what Trump is thinking on Ukraine. That's my sense of it. Because Minsk 3 is not going to be accepted by Russia. And Russia's never going to accept Zaporozhye and Kherson and Donetsk and Lugansk to go back to Ukraine as autonomous republics. They've already tried all of this. This has already been tried. Minsk 1, they tried. Minsk 2, they tried. And the EU, Germany and France, they were supposed to guarantee and enforce Minsk 1 and Minsk 2, and they didn't. They failed. All they did is they used Minsk 1 and Minsk 2 to build up Ukraine's military, and they've admitted it. Angela Merkel has admitted it. They used it to buy time to build up Ukraine so that it could be used as a battering ram against Russia. She said it in multiple interviews, in four interviews. Angela Merkel has admitted to what they were doing with Minsk 1 and Minsk 2. Why would Russia trust the European Union to guarantee a Minsk 3 and to police a demilitarized zone, a green zone? Why would they agree to any of this when they're winning, and they're winning big now? I mean, they're winning very big. The south of Donbass, from what I understand, the whole front line is collapsing for Zelensky, for the Ukraine military. Anyway, I'll talk about this Financial Times article in more detail tomorrow once I get a good night's sleep and can read the article in the morning over a cup of coffee. And I just wanted to just talk about what I've read about this Financial Times article. This is what I've read about the Financial Times article, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like this is Trump's real plan. That's just my sense of it. Maybe it is. Maybe it is his plan. But whoever's talking about a Minsk 3 and a demilitarized zone and autonomous republics and stuff like that, Russia's gonna laugh if this is the plan. I mean, they're gonna laugh. Yeah. Anyway, that's the video, everybody. I don't have a clown world, but check out the Red Pesto Bar, Pizza Romana. Nice restaurant in Limassol. And I'm going to end the video. I will end the video. This is the boardwalk, the promenade of Limassol at night. All right, everybody, take care.